They say aging is inevitable, but weakness isn't. Many people over 60 believe that losing strength is just part of growing old. But in truth, it's often a quiet hunger that steals our power, not time itself. I've met elders who struggled to lift a grocery bag or climb a few steps until they changed one simple thing: what they ate. Not expensive supplements, not fancy powders, just real food. A retired teacher once told me, "When I added boiled eggs and lentils back to my meals, I felt like my body remembered something it had forgotten." That's the thing. Our muscles don't disappear. They just wait for the right fuel to wake them again. In a world obsessed with youth, we forget that muscle is not vanity. It's life. It keeps us walking, balancing, and laughing with our grandchildren. And building it after 60 doesn't take money. Just awareness, knowing which foods quietly rebuild us from the inside out. Today, we uncover those simple, affordable proteins that can transform strength, not just for the body, but for the years ahead. Welcome back to Longevity Talks. I'm John, and today we're joined by the legendary Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara to explore how seniors can build muscle naturally with everyday, budget-friendly foods. Dr. Hinohara, so many older adults think muscle loss is unavoidable. Why does protein matter so much after 60?
John, muscle is not only strength, it is freedom. After 60, the body uses protein less efficiently, a process we call anabolic resistance. That means we must give it more, not through luxury, but through consistency. In Japan, elders eat simple: tofu, mackerel, eggs, soybeans, and miso soup. These are humble foods, yet rich in complete proteins. They are gentle on digestion, affordable and familiar. Protein rebuilds the small fibers that allow us to rise from a chair, to open a door, to hug someone we love. Each small act of strength is an act of living. So when we choose high-protein foods, even lentils, milk or fish, we are choosing independence. Eat slowly, chew with gratitude, and remember, the body listens to how we feed it, even in our 70s or 80s.
That's beautiful. For seniors on tight budgets, what are your top choices for building muscle quickly without costly supplements?
Start with what your grandmother cooked: eggs, lentils, milk, peanuts, and small fish. Add cottage cheese or tofu if available. These are nature's silent healers. Eat them with vegetables and walk daily. In time, the body will thank you, quietly but deeply.
Dr. Hinohara, many people over 60 believe that muscle loss is just part of aging, that it's something they can't really fight. Is that true, or is there more to it than what we've been told?
John, that belief that weakness must come with age is one of the greatest misunderstandings in modern health. What I've seen after decades of working with seniors is that the human body does not simply give up. It responds to how we treat it. When we stop moving, when we stop feeding our muscles, they begin to fade, not because of years, but because of neglect. Think of an old instrument left untouched. The strings loosen, the sound fades, but once tuned and played again, the melody returns. Our muscles are the same. I've met people in their 70s and 80s who began light resistance training and added a little more protein to their meals: eggs, tofu, fish, even beans, and within months, they could climb stairs again or lift what once felt heavy. The body remembers strength. It's written in its design. Aging slows repair, yes, but it never stops it. We must give our body the materials it needs and the invitation to use them. That is why I always say, don't retire from movement. If you can lift a spoon, you can lift your life. Walk, stretch, breathe, eat real food, and treat every meal as a message to your muscles that you still need them. When you do that, something beautiful happens. Energy returns, balance improves, and the quiet pride of independence grows again. Weakness, John, is not destiny. It's simply a signal asking us to care a little more for the body that still wishes to serve us.
Dr. Hinohara, you often emphasize that protein becomes even more important after 60. Many seniors eat less as they age, or they think they don't need as much. Why does protein matter so deeply in later life?
John, after 60, the body begins to whisper. Its systems slow, its digestion changes, and what once was enough no longer is. We call this anabolic resistance, meaning the body no longer builds muscle from protein as easily as before. It's not that it forgets how, it just needs a stronger reminder. Imagine trying to light a fire with damp wood. You need a bit more flame, more patience. The same is true with protein. Each meal becomes an opportunity to rebuild the fibers that hold us upright, that let us walk, stand, and breathe deeply. When older adults eat very little protein, a cup of tea here, some bread there, the body begins to draw from its own stores, shrinking the muscles that protect the joints and bones. But when they add just a few simple sources, an egg, a handful of lentils, a bowl of miso soup, some milk or fish, the change can be remarkable. Energy returns, posture improves, even the face brightens. Protein is not only food for muscles. It is a message to the entire system that life is still active within. And when we pair it with light movement, walking to the market, stretching in the morning, that message becomes stronger. The elders of Japan understood this quietly. They didn't count grams. They simply made protein a habit in every meal. In doing so, they preserved not only their bodies, but their independence, their curiosity, and their joy in simple daily living.
Dr. Hinohara, you often say that strength after 60 doesn't require expensive supplements or fancy diets. For many seniors living on fixed incomes, that's comforting to hear. Can real, affordable foods truly make a difference in rebuilding muscle and energy?
John, absolutely. The body does not ask for luxury. It asks for nourishment. Some of the strongest elders I've met in Japan and around the world eat the simplest foods. A boiled egg in the morning, lentil soup at lunch, tofu, or a piece of grilled fish for dinner. These are not costly meals. They are honest meals. Protein doesn't have to come from powders or imported health drinks. It lives quietly in the foods many of us already know. Peanuts, milk, chickpeas, small fish, even beans cooked with rice. When these are eaten with intention and regularity, the body begins to wake up again. I remember visiting an old fisherman in Okinawa who ate sardines almost every day. He laughed when I asked about supplements. He said, "The sea gives me everything I need and it costs nothing." His hands were strong, his back straight, and he was 83. The truth is, the body values consistency over extravagance. It wants steady support, not occasional miracles. When seniors learn to see food as medicine and choose these humble proteins daily, the results can feel like youth returning, not through magic, but through memory. These foods feed more than muscle. They feed confidence, movement, and dignity. So when people ask me what to eat for strength, I tell them, eat what your grandmother cooked. The recipes of the past often hold the quiet wisdom that modern life forgets. They are simple, kind to the stomach, gentle on the wallet, and powerful enough to rebuild a life that still wants to move.
Dr. Hinohara, you've said something truly powerful, that muscle equals independence. Could you share what that really means for people over 60 and why keeping strength matters far beyond just physical fitness?
John, when I say muscle equals independence, I'm not speaking only of biceps or exercise. I'm speaking of freedom. After 60, every bit of strength we keep is a small victory for our dignity. The ability to stand up from a chair without help, to walk to the bathroom in the middle of the night, to carry a bag of groceries. These are not small things. They are symbols of self-reliance, of being able to live life on our own terms. I have seen too many elders lose strength, and with it, their confidence. They stop moving out of fear of falling, and soon the body follows the mind into stillness. But when they begin to rebuild, slowly through gentle movement and daily protein, their spirit returns. One woman I knew in Tokyo, 78 years old, started doing light exercises while holding onto her kitchen counter. Within weeks, she could walk to the park again. She told me, "It's not just my legs that are stronger, my will is stronger." That, John, is the essence of independence. Muscles don't just lift weight, they lift identity. They allow us to keep saying, "I can," instead of, "I wish I could." And when we pair this with community, walking with friends, cooking together, the joy multiplies. So for every person over 60, I say, protect your muscles as you would protect your memories, because with strength comes not only movement, but the quiet confidence that you still belong fully in the rhythm of life.
Dr. Hinohara, you often remind us that it's not the expensive diets or rare ingredients that keep us healthy. It's what we do every day. Why is consistency more powerful than luxury when it comes to food and muscle health for older adults?
John, The body doesn't count the price of food, it counts the pattern. What we do every day becomes the language our body understands. A single healthy meal does little if the rest of the week is neglect. But small steady habits, a boiled egg each morning, a cup of lentil soup, a bit of tofu or fish at dinner, they whisper to the body, reminding it to stay strong. I've seen many people chase expensive supplements, imported powders or trendy diets, believing that health must come from something rare. But longevity is built quietly, from repetition, not from novelty. In Japan, the elders who live long lives rarely change their meals. They eat simple foods in small portions at regular times. It's their rhythm, not their menu, that sustains them. One man in Kyoto told me he had eaten miso soup every morning for 50 years. He laughed and said it kept him grounded. That's the truth of consistency. It becomes a conversation between you and your body, a promise kept daily. Luxury may bring excitement, but it doesn't bring balance. When seniors learn that nourishment comes from habit, they stop worrying about what they can't afford and focus on what they can repeat. And when the body feels that steady care, the regular protein, the gentle movement, it responds with strength, clarity, and calm. Health, in the end, is not about perfection. It is about loyalty to the small acts that keep us alive and capable.
Dr. Hinohara, you've mentioned that mindful eating supports longevity. Not just what we eat, but how we eat it. For seniors especially, what does that look like in real life, and why is it so important?
John, the act of eating is more than feeding the body. It is a form of communication with life itself. In our modern world, people eat quickly, distracted, sometimes even standing. But the elders who live long and well, they treat each meal as a small ceremony. They sit, breathe, look at their food, and give thanks. This slows the nervous system, helps digestion, and brings awareness back to the present moment. When we eat slowly, we chew more, and the body absorbs protein and nutrients far better. A simple bowl of rice with tofu, when eaten mindfully, nourishes more deeply than a rushed meal of expensive food. I once visited an 89-year-old woman who lived alone near Kyoto. Every morning she would place her meal carefully, say a quiet word of gratitude, and eat in silence. She told me, "When I thank my food, my body listens better. That is not poetry, it's biology. Gratitude lowers stress hormones, and a calm body digests well." Mindful eating also helps seniors reconnect with their senses, the taste, the texture, the warmth, reminding them they are still part of the living world. Even chewing slowly strengthens facial muscles, which improves speech and balance. So, John, mindful eating is not a luxury or a spiritual exercise. It is medicine. When we respect the moment, we digest life itself. Each bite becomes a way of telling the body, I am still here, I am still grateful, I am still living fully.
Dr. Hinohara, you often speak about the quiet wisdom in traditional diets, the kind of foods our grandparents ate. In today's fast and modern world, where everything is processed and convenient, what lessons can we learn from those older ways of eating, especially for building strength and health after 60?
John, our grandparents lived closer to the rhythm of nature. Their food was simple, seasonal, and shared. They didn't eat for entertainment or distraction. They ate for living, for working, for connection. If you look at traditional diets, whether in Japan, the Mediterranean, or rural villages around the world, you'll see the same pattern: real food, cooked at home, eaten with others. These foods were full of life. Fresh fish, lentils, rice, beans, vegetables from the garden, eggs from the hen in the yard. None of it was fancy, but it gave strength that lasted a lifetime. My mother used to say, "Eat what the earth gives you, not what the factory makes." I've never forgotten that. Processed food may fill the stomach, but it does not feed the spirit. When we return to traditional eating, when we cook again, touch the ingredients, smell them, share them, something in us heals. Older adults especially need this connection. Cooking becomes movement, eating becomes mindfulness, and the body responds with gratitude. I remember visiting an old farmer who still grew soybeans and sweet potatoes in his 70s. He told me he never worried about protein because it grew in his field. He would eat tofu, miso, or a handful of peanuts each day, and his hands were still strong, his back still straight. These small traditions, soaking beans overnight, grilling fish, fermenting vegetables, they are not only recipes, they are rituals of patience and balance. They slow us down in a world that moves too fast. For seniors, returning to such roots can be powerful medicine. The body feels safe in familiarity, and the soul finds peace in routine. When we eat as our grandparents did, we don't just nourish ourselves. We honor the generations who taught us how to live simply, gratefully, and in rhythm with life itself. That, John, is the true secret of lasting strength.
Listening to you today, Dr. Hinohara, reminds me that health isn't built in clinics or from expensive bottles. It's shaped in the small moments we choose to care. A simple meal, a slow walk, a quiet breath before eating. These are the foundations of strength, even after 60.
Yes, John. True longevity is not about avoiding age, but about walking with it gracefully. Each year adds wisdom to the body, and if we listen closely, it tells us exactly what it needs: nourishment, movement, and kindness. Eat what is real. Move every day, rest with gratitude, and speak gently to yourself. The heart listens to the words we think, and the body follows. There is no secret fountain of youth. There is only presence and the choice to keep living with purpose. Even at 90, life can still be full of discovery, laughter, and strength. The key is not to chase time, but to fill it beautifully.
Beautifully said, Doctor. To everyone listening, take a breath, eat with intention, and let every day be a quiet investment in your future self. If this episode brought you peace or inspiration, subscribe and join us next time for more wisdom on living well at any age.